Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Minecraft mod showcase. Today we'll be showcasing the Too Much TNT mod. It was suggested from a viewer that has been watching my videos for a very long time now. His name is Mythical Gamer. Thank you very much for supporting my channel, and also thank you very much for the suggestion. I appreciate you being here. And another thing that I want to mention is thank you very much for all the support. We have passed my goal of 50 subscribers, and I really do appreciate it. Our next goal is 100 subscribers. And I'm looking forward to see the future. And I know I always say that I appreciate everything, but I do mean it when I say it. And thank you very much again. And let's get to the video. So the first thing I'm going to show you is all the dynamites in the chest. The ones in our hands are the ones that we're going to be starting with. There is a ton of different dynamites with a ton of different effects. You can also see all the damage that I've caused before. There is a lot of really useful dynamites in this mod, a lot of cool ones as well. The first dynamite that we're going to start with is the regular dynamite. It uses Minecraft TNT that's already in Minecraft. It is very simple to make. It doesn't do as much damage, but it's still rewarding anyways. It's one of the first dynamites in this mod. The difference between the regular base Minecraft dynamite, I'm going to call it, and the ×5 dynamite is pretty big. It is basically 5 times the explosion of the first dynamite that we just did. Now we got ×20 dynamite. The explosion is a lot bigger, and it's only going to get worse from here. And it's already not looking too good for my computer. I'm already experiencing like slight lag. Now we got the dynamite ×100. The explosion is way bigger than the first 3 we tried, and it causes a lot of damage. I wouldn't recommend using this near a village, or else your village might be gone by the time you throw that. Now we got dynamite ×500, which this is not looking good. My computer's already suffering, and it does quite a bit of damage, so it can be very useful for clearing an area, but you do have to be very careful not to blow up your house at the same time. So now, since we've finished all these dynamites, we are going to go get the other few dynamites. The first dynamite that we have here is the fire dynamite. If I throw this dynamite on the floor, it will make a giant pile of fire, and I do not recommend using this. It's probably going to burn your house down if you use it near your house, but it could be a very good way of killing any creature in the proximity. And we got snow dynamite. It could be very useful in the combo of the fire dynamite because it takes out fire very easily. It's very good from preventing the fire from spreading. Now we got dynamite firework. It basically explodes and it spreads out into a load of dynamites in a firework effect. So now we're going to go find another few animals to test it on, just so I could show you again. What it does is, if we throw the dynamite firework, it spreads out and it will kill all the units in the proximity almost. It's a really cool dynamite. Now we got nuclear dynamite. It will make an explosion and it will give you the contaminated effect. If you're in the area for too long, it will give you the poison effect, and it will also give you nausea. And over time, you'll just end up dying. The freeze dynamite could be very useful for making ice structures or just anything ice related. And once you throw the dynamite, it will make patches of ice on the ground. You can also use the ice dynamite to make like a sort of bridge structure in the water. A little trick that I learned is throwing the dynamite close to each other. If not, it will make those like little patches in the water. It will probably ruin your little bridge structure idea. We're just taking milk just because it takes away the contaminated effect. Now we got floating dynamite. What floating dynamite does is it will float into the air until it hits a person. And because of that, we're able to increase the range that we throw the dynamite. And the TNT does a lot of damage. Now we got sphere dynamite. It basically makes a small sphere shape in the ground. It's a very simple dynamite. There is a lot of different dynamites that have different shapes in this mod. Now we have flat dynamite. It's very useful to flatten an area if you want to build a house. And it's super time efficient, very time efficient. If you need to clear something very quick to make a big building, it's pretty much used mainly for that. We have a dynamite that's similar to flat dynamite. It's called mining flat dynamite. It basically flattens the land, but it also adds torches, so it can be very useful to use at night when you want to build something at night. And it takes away all the grass, so when you build something, you don't have to take away all the grass before building it. It's very similar, but instead it places torches. Now we got vaporizing dynamite, so we gotta find just a small like little river. And what it does is it will allow us to empty out the water at a very fast rate. It will save you a lot of time, and it will also help you if you want to build like an underwater base or if you want to enter an underwater cave down in the water. Now we got meteor dynamite. What it does is a meteor will fall from the sky wherever the dynamite hits, and it will do a big hole in the ground, lighting everything around it on fire. We accidentally killed that chicken we just threw it on. It became fried chicken. Now we got cubic dynamite. Cubic dynamite basically is used to make cube structures in the ground. It is a simple dynamite to use. It's just one of the shapes that are in this mod for the dynamites. Now we have groove dynamite. It basically makes a small forest. It could be a very fast way of putting a forest around your house. Or if you want to do like a cool forest build, the wood is also very useful as well. Now we got ender dynamite. What the dynamite does is where it lands, it will bounce everything away. So let's say if we aim it at all these animals, they will go flying. These cows just basically went back to the moon. And it could be a very useful dynamite for tricking your friends. That sheep just went flying. I was not expecting to see that sheep fly that far. It's a really funny dynamite to use. Like I said, if you want to prank your friends, it could be a very useful one. Now we got arrow dynamite. What it does is once the arrow dynamite is thrown, it will hit everything in the proximity with arrows. It could be a very good dynamite for killing a ton of creatures in a specific area. Now we got lightning dynamite. It can be used to damage creatures in a big proximity. It could also be used to make charged creepers, but the one thing that I do want to mention is that if you're in survival, you could accidentally die if you're not careful, because the lightning might just kill you. But also a charged creeper is very dangerous. If you go near one, it will most likely blow you up at the smithereens. And another thing too is you could also maybe use it for the achievement that you might need lightning for. Now we got erupting dynamite. When the dynamite hits the ground once we throw it, it will basically explode and tons of dynamites will come out, kind of like a volcano. And once they hit the ground, it will do some pretty lethal damage to the ground and light everything on fire and make holes everywhere where it lands. Now we got floating island dynamite. What it does is once it lands onto the ground, it will basically make a floating island wherever it lands, and it will copy the terrain underneath it. So if you like a certain flat terrain, you could basically copy paste it like up in the sky. It's a really cool dynamite if you want to make a floating island or just a sort of floating island base. And it will copy paste every material that it hits it on into the sky. It will not copy the trees, it will only copy the terrain, and it will also copy if there's any caves in that terrain underneath us, kind of like what's underneath us right here. And it will also copy what's like underneath the terrain, kind of like dirt, gravel, all that stuff. Now we got Hellfire Dynamite. It basically makes like a part of the nether in the overworld and puts netherrack all over the place and fire. Now we got Chemical Dynamite. Chemical dynamite could be a very easy way of accessing a cave or making your own makeshift cave. What it does is it melts the blocks that it hits, and it goes very deep down, and you could get to bedrock very easy doing so. It could be a very useful dynamite for mining. Now we got spiral dynamite. Once it hits the ground, it will make the dynamite spiral everywhere. So as you can see, it spiraled. Now we got ocean dynamite. Ocean dynamite is very useful if you want to make a makeshift ocean, or if you want to make like an underwater house. Now we got compact dynamite. Compact dynamite basically makes an explosion in a little compact space. So if you want to remove a segment of a mountain, it could be a very cool way of removing a certain part of a mountain that you don't like because it's compact and won't deal as much damage in any other places. Now we got animal dynamite. It basically spawns a ton of different Minecraft mobs. It could be very useful if you need a certain Minecraft mob. Now we got digging dynamite. Digging dynamite is kind of like chemical dynamite, but it does a little bit less damage to the ground. It goes all the way down to deep slate. I don't know if you could see, but it's very easy if you want to get down to bedrock or deep slate. Now we got nuclear waste dynamite. It basically just does like what the other nuclear dynamite did. Instead, this one just puts nuclear waste everywhere. Standing on the nuclear waste will give you the same effects that I explained before with the other nuclear TNT. Now we got wool dynamite. Wool dynamite basically changes the color of things and makes it into wool. Let's say if I hit sand with it, it will become yellow wool. Grass will become green wool. Now we got lava dynamite, which makes a pile of lava. And we also have shatterproof dynamite, which makes the ground into obsidian. That's why it's called shatterproof dynamite. We also have timer dynamite. It's basically dynamite, but instead of a explosion once it hits the ground, it will take a little bit of time before the dynamite blows up. It ended up taking a while before the dynamite blew up. I don't know if there's a way to customize the timer so it doesn't take as long, but it just sat there for a while, and we waited also a very long bit of time. It ended up exploding as I was going to walk away. It doesn't do as much damage, but if ever you want a timed explosion, it could be very useful. Now we have gravity dynamite. What gravity dynamite does, wherever the dynamite is thrown, any animal or creature will follow the dynamite up into the air. It is a very funny dynamite to use. I had a lot of fun with this dynamite. It can be very useful for taking creatures out of a specific area. If you don't want to deal with withering skeletons or something, it would be very worth using that dynamite. Now we got withering dynamite. It spawns wither skeletons and does like a miniature biome, kind of like the ones that you see in the nether. It can be a very easy way to farm wither skeletons because they instantly spawn as the dynamite is thrown. Now we got sensor dynamite. I wasn't too certain what this one did, to be honest with you. I tested out a lot of different dynamites that day, so that one I kind of just forgot what it did. I kind of thought in the back of my mind that, you know, because it was called sensor dynamite, I thought the minute somebody would step on it, it would explode. But I think I meant redstone sensor dynamite. But it took a while for that one to explode also. In the meantime, we have rainbow dynamite. It basically shoots out a ton of different rainbow clays. If you need certain clays, it can be very useful. Now we got roulette dynamite. I just realized what this one did during editing. So I thought it was a bug, but what it does is there's a chance for it to explode or a chance for it to not explode. That's why it's called roulette dynamite, because it's gambling. It's 50-50. So that's what I thought. And now we got bouncing dynamite. It's basically dynamite, just regular dynamite, but instead it bounces and it does quite a bit of damage once it explodes. By what I mean explode is when it stops bouncing all over the place. Like here, it ricocheted off the villager's house and landed on the ground and exploded. But it could basically bounce anywhere. The igniter dynamite was actually really bugged. I tried to use it to see if it would function, and I looked to see what it does, but it seems to just be bugging out because whatever I seemed to do, it just didn't work at all. So it was just a failed dynamite for this one. Now we got multiplying dynamite. So once the dynamite is thrown, it will multiply and make tons of other dynamites. And it will do quite a bit of damage. Like, it completely destroyed this whole village. It's probably the most explosive one in this mod. Now we got random dynamite. It has a chance to do any dynamite from the mod. I got some of the less major random dynamites. Now we got homing dynamite. What homing dynamite does is it will follow any creature. And there's no possible way that you could miss your creature. Even if the creature runs away or the mob runs away, you'll always be able to hit them with the TNT, like those sheeps, for example. Now we got honey dynamite. It basically makes a giant honeycomb, and if you look inside the honeycomb, like I did with the tunneling dynamite, you will see all the bees. Tunneling dynamite's also pretty useful to make a cave with. It's one of the more useful ones. Ultralight dynamite is just a lot lighter than all the dynamites in the mod. The distance that it could be thrown is very big, and when it hits the ground, it could also make quite a lethal explosion. It took me a while to follow it. I ended up losing it, but this one here I ended up following. You could see it blew up in the desert over there. It could be pretty cool. Now we got Christmas dynamite. It has like a really cool Christmas effect, and once the Christmas effect is over, it will spawn its own like Christmassy biome right on top of it, like it did here. It can be pretty useful if you want to build like a gingerbread house or just a, you know, makeshift North Pole. And now we have ring dynamite. What the ring dynamite does is when it's thrown, it will make a ring shape on the ground. And now we got pulse dynamite. It will make a little circle on the ground, and over time it will start breaking the ground underneath it. And when it breaks the ground underneath it, it's going to get slightly bigger, the hole, over time. And as you could see, it got quite big before it ended up stopping. And now we got physics dynamite. Once the dynamite hits the ground, all the blocks go flying up into the air. Now we got big dynamite. It makes a bigger explosion than just regular base dynamite. Now we got nether groove dynamite. It makes a nether groove biome in the overworld. X-ray dynamite exposes all the ores and makes all the ground into glass, so you can kind of just see what's underneath you. We also have prism dynamite. It makes a prism shape on the ground, kind of like a stairway. It's another one of the dynamites that have shapes in this mod. Now we also have picky dynamite. Picky dynamite makes a circle shape. I mean, it's not really a circle, but it's a Minecraft circle. We also have cluster dynamite. It explodes into small clusters and does minimal damage around the clusters. And now we have farming dynamite. What farming dynamite does is when it's thrown, it will make a farm. It's a very easy way to get a farm if you need a farm very desperately. Now we got ice meteor dynamite. It basically does like the other meteor, but instead it's ice. It does the same size hole, but instead it's filled with ice as well. We also have accelerating dynamite. It basically detonates faster than the other dynamite, even though slightly before it hits the ground. We also have lush dynamite. It makes a lush biome from the ones that you see from Minecraft. We have driftstone dynamite, that one as well. And we also have the end dynamite. It basically makes a part of the end of the overworld. We also have the skull dynamite as well. This one's pretty dangerous because if I wasn't in peaceful, the warden would spawn. And imagine if you're in a survival world and you accidentally place that near your house, it could be very unsafe. Because wardens could also break blocks, so it's going to be impossible to get away from the warden. And it's also not worth trying to kill because it doesn't drop anything interesting. Maybe not now, but maybe in the future he might drop something interesting. And that's pretty much my, idea on that dynamite. Now we have the lucky dynamite. The lucky dynamite's basically different dynamites. It's a pretty cool idea. And that's pretty much it for this. I do want to mention that this isn't the full showcase. I only showcased the dynamites for this video. But in the next video, there's going to be the TNTs, the minecarts, and the extra gadgets in the mod. Stay tuned for part 2. And thank you very much for watching, and have a nice day.